they do. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the third week of the Central European box. We are actually, I have a different bottle, so believe it or not, the importer was exactly one bottle short. And so I ended up getting a different bottle. So I'm drinking a Rustical, but you all should have 2023 Pivnica Cajkov Princess Pesecka Leanka is what you should have. This is also Pesecka Leanka, as it says on my label, but it just has a little more skin contact. It has seen some barrel age. So the producer calls your wine Princess. By the way, I have a very vivid memory of what the wine tasted like, so I think we'll be okay. But so he calls Princess Alice in Wonderland's breakfast wine. So if you go to his website, he has like a breakfast wine, lunch wine, and dinner wine. So yours is a breakfast wine, meaning like it's good for breakfast, light, bright, really good thing for brunch actually, because it's got that little bit of fizz in there already built in. And then my wine, having gone through a little more skin contact and a little more barrel aging, even though it is the same grape variety, he calls it the lunch wine because it's got a little more body and all of that. But nonetheless, this is actually quite nice. It's a lot more savory, but it's got the kind of same thorough, kind of same fabric. You can tell that it comes from the same variety. It kind of holds true to the varietal character of the Pesecka Leanka. So, anyways, so know that we're drinking a different wine, but I have a very vivid memory of that wine. So I've had that many times in the past, and so we'll be okay. Just a few announcements. Invoices went out on Monday. So get that all taken care of. If you're not joining us, just let me know so I can get that all set up. Just you're wondering, next month's theme is going to be Thanksgiving box. So every year, this time of the year, I can't believe it's already Thanksgiving time. It's what the fuck, 2025, like it's crazy. But so yeah, Thanksgiving wine. I know it's October. The whole point is you taste it in October, so you can order it in November in a case club, so you can have it for Thanksgiving if you want. So yeah, October will be Thanksgiving wine. November will be sparkling box. So all the New Year's Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve sparkling, that's going to come. And then to wrap it all up, the December, I haven't decided yet, but it may be Southern Italy, like a Puglia, that area. Or I may do something like a Grenache, like horizontal box, like Grenache grown in different parts of the world. So I haven't really decided yet, but anyways, for the next 2 months, just know that it's Thanksgiving, in case that matters. For those of you who order the Darden Ribot or requested the Darden Ribot, Oreo, and Canonico allocation, check this out. So we didn't get a single bottle, just to give you an idea of how popular, how elusive those wines are. So I won't be getting you any of it. Even they're like the importer's top or distributor's top volume clients accounts only got a few bottles. That's how minute amount of wine that we got in DC. So I did not get any. So for those of you who were looking forward to that, I'm sorry to tell you that I won't be able to get you any, but that's how it goes with these allocations. These things are getting smaller every year, and the demand just continues to go up. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I think that's all the announcements that I have. Any questions about next couple months or the allocation or anything like that? Excellent, excellent. Hearing none, let's get into the wine. Again, I have the different bottle, but your bottle should have this little bird flying over it. So 2023 Pivnica Cajkov Princess Pesecka Leanka is what you should have. It's that clear bottle, looks like kind of Alsatian shape, long and narrow. It's got a bird on it. It should have princess written on it. There you go. That's the one that Dan is holding up right now. Yeah, that's the bottle that you all should have. All right, let's start with the map. All right, so I probably should have pulled this earlier in the month, but hey, whatever, better late than never. But and also, you know, yes, we're Americans, we're terrible at geography, but most of you being DC folks who are relatively quite savvy with geography, you probably knew where Slovakia was. Excuse me. So, in case you were wondering where Slovakia was, it's right here. Like it's smack dab in the center of essentially Europe, Central Europe. So it's borderline by Hungary on the south. This is where we were last week, right? Austria on the left, Czechia or Czech to the northwest, and then Poland to the north, and then Ukraine obviously to the right. But so we're covering these three countries this month. We've spent the last 2 weeks in Hungary. Now we're moving on to Slovakia, and then we're going to wrap it all up with a Czech line next week. And if you look into Slovakia a little bit further, and as you can imagine, this is landlocked, this is inland, just like Hungary. I mean, all three of these countries are pretty much landlocked. So you can, there's obviously like a mesoclimate, microclimate that's different depending on where you are, depending on elevation, and if there's rivers, which was the case in Hungary, right? Where in Tokaj, where we were, there were two big rivers that run through. So there's some moderating effects and there are things that happen, but in general, what we're talking about is a continental climate. So it gets pretty damn hot in the summertime, and it gets bitterly cold in the wintertime. So yeah, just know in general, when you're talking about these countries or Central Europe, you're talking about very much a continental weather. Same thing with Austria, right? Austria gets the continental weather, but soil type is different, the elevation is different, so all those things that make for the each wine region. So when you look at Slovakia, and I know this is not exactly a great map, but this is the best map that I could find of the Slovakia wine map. But it's essentially divided into these 6 different regions. Carpathian Mountain, which runs on the net, this is probably the most well-known for like a high quality, probably the most historic and renowned region. If you are familiar with the Slovakian wine, just out of curiosity, by the way, how many of you guys have had Slovak wines before? Julia, okay. Cecilia, of course, yeah. How many of you guys have Slovak wines that were not Tokaj, that were not dessert wines? Okay, all right. Just out of curiosity. All right, so yeah, this is where the kind of quote unquote the best, highest quality wines come from, the Carpathian right here. And then this actually makes sense, right? Like if you look at it, Poland is to the north, Ukraine is to the right. So to the left going through here, there's Austria. So obviously Austria very well known for its wine. And then particularly the northeast region right here, the northern part of Austria, kind of east, this whole span right here around Vienna is where all the winemaking is centered around in Austria. So it makes sense that it kind of bleeds into Slovakia. So when you look at Slovakia, it kind of exists on this side. And then as you go more to the east and the southern region, obviously there's a Hungarian influence because Hungary is just to the north. And this is where Tokaj is, right? In the northeast region, as we covered. And as you can see, this is where the tiny little Slovak Tokaj region exists right here. And just like Hungary, it's basically the dessert wine, the butcherized dessert wine. It is cheaper than Hungarian, because Hungarian Tokaj is better known. But I personally have never had Slovak Tokaj. But from what I've researched and what I've heard, that it's just as actually good as the Hungarian Tokaj. But that it just lives in the shadow of Hungarian Tokaj. So if you can find Slovak Tokaj, it may be a good value, something to good bang for your buck. All right, so South Slovakia, which is southern here, as you can imagine, as you move more south, it becomes a little bit warmer. This is where the kind of the southernmost of all of the Slovakia. This is where a lot of sun-loving kind of varieties grow. This is kind of the Napa Valley of Slovakia, if you have to think of it that way. A lot of Cabernet Sauvignon, a lot of red wines that grow here. Nitra, which is the inland right here, just to the northeast. This is where we are. This is where our wine come from today. It's one of the oldest wine regions. There's a lot of very different terroir runs through here, depending on where you are. But where we are is around the village of Cajkov. It's in the name of Pivnica Cajkov. It just means wine cellar of Cajkov. the producer is the village of Cajkov. It's right around the volcanic mountain. So again, we're talking about pretty much a volcanic soil type, but there's also a particular volcanic soil here called tuff, which is TUFF. It's essentially the volcanic ash that has been pressed and then turned into sedimentary rock over time, and that's kind of all over this place, and it gives these wines kind of that mineral kind of a backbone and then acidity and all of that. The central Slovakia, which runs on the south here, a little bit milder temperature here, just because of the river that runs through here. Wide varieties planted here. You do find some cooler climate, almost like Alsatian varieties growing here. So Traminer, Pinot Blanc, Riesling, things like that grow here. And then as you go eastern, here it becomes even more inland. So as you can imagine, very continental here, and then the Tokai is where we are. So this is kind of like, just know that southern, where it touches Hungary and Austria is where Slovakia's wine region lives, which makes sense because other countries also have their wine region just across the border from them, right along the national border essentially. But for intents and purposes today, we are right here in Mitra. The volcanic mountain that I was telling you about, by the way, is named Sitno, S-I-T-N-O, is the name of the volcano that this village is at the foothill of. And then just kind of give you a general history of Slovakia. Viticulture history here stretches back millennia. The oldest evidence of winemaking here predates the Romans by like 400 years. I actually had no idea. It was actually the very first winemaking was recorded by the Celtics that settled here. So I thought it was the Romans that brought the viticulture into this area, but it actually exists here even before the Romans. So it's been here for a while. Vineyards flourished in Slovakia until the arrival of phylloxera in the 19th century, which devastated over 90% of vineyards. Very typical story of not only just Europe, but global wine industry. The 20th century ushered in the new era, but obviously one by this communist rule. So a lot of land and vineyards were nationalized. And then the viticulture or the wine industry moved towards quantity over quality. And that's kind of true pretty much everywhere you see Czech, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Serbia, Ukraine to this day kind of has the same thing running through Moldova. So the fall of communism in 1989 was kind of the turning point. The vineyards returned back to the private ownership, but then kind of restoration, a lot of the traditional winemaking, the knowledge, all of that was lost. A lot of indigenous varieties were either pulled or they were used for blending into a big commercial commodity wines. And so returning back to its original roots of traditional winemaking, and all of that has been a very gradual process. But this whole area, I mean, honestly, Czech, Slovakia, and Hungary, and I've been hearing their names or their producers from these countries pop up on my radar quite a bit. It's also been a bit of a hotbed for a lot of natural winemaking here. But yeah, like Hungary and Czech, Slovakia is kind of currently going through that bit of a winemaking renaissance where you had this era, glorious golden days, before phylloxera. Phylloxera comes, devastates the vineyards. Soviets come, complete halts the wine industry, turns the focus onto quantity and commodity winemaking, slowly making its way back. But the way it has gone back, even the kind of the quote unquote the best, most well-known producers, they've all been about very much of this kind of a highly engineered, heavy-handed, industrial kind of winemaking. But there's this bit of a winemaking renaissance where people are going back to indigenous varieties, like letting go of this Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Blanc, all these kind of international varieties, but going back to the varieties that great grandparents used to farm and making minds of the way that their grandparents used to make. So all of that renaissance is happening. It's currently going through all of that. So it's really a fun, exciting place to kind of keep your eye on. I have been, out of these three countries, honestly, Czech is probably the one country that I have been tasting the most amount of wine in the last 5 years or so. But it's getting better every year, honestly. So it's quite exciting, but all across the board, a lot of cool new producers, and the wine quality continues to get better. All right, let's talk about who makes this wine. this gentleman sitting on top of his pyramid of grape bins. His name is Marek. Marek Uhnak. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maybe you know, Cecilia, but I typed in his name in the chat box. Marekuhnak.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Marek Uhnak. Anyways, there's this gentleman who is the head of Pivnica Cajkov. He is a fourth generation winemaker in his family. The Uhnak winemaking family, who has been making wine here since 1666. So they've been making wine for a long time and farming this land, and they've gotten to kind of know the land and what grows well here and how to grow them well. Tiny little holding. They farm 3.5 hectares, which is a tiny little parcel, but certified organic vineyards, working only with old native varieties, and Pesecka Leanka is his kind of a flagship variety. This has become his kind of a calling. So Marek was the first generation in his family to go to school for enology. Before that, it was just passed down, working in vineyards, just learning from dad and grandparents and all of that. But he actually went to school. So he went to enology school at Mendel University in Czech, and has 20 plus years of winemaking under his belt. But his kind of own winemaking journey has gone through a different philosophical approach. After getting his degree in winemaking, he tried to combine that kind of modern technology that he learned in school in chase of quote unquote better quality wine. He wanted to kind of prove to himself and all those kind of around him in Slovakia that new times have come, and this kind of new generation young winemaker is going to take over the world of wine, and he wanted to make the best, award-winning, quote unquote, again, best wines that he could get his hands on. But he realized as he's gotten older and more experienced with winemaking, he realized that kind of all this modern technology that he learned in school that he was trying to deploy or employ in his family winery in Cajkov was actually getting in the way of truly expressing the indigenous varieties and the Cajkov region where his family has been making wine since 1667, like I said. So he has kind of reverted back again, that kind of renaissance, right? You go to school, you learn all this new modern winemaking technology, but you kind of go back to the way your great grandparents used to make. So he's kind of pulled back on a lot of that, and he's now very much of a hands-off, real minimal interventionist winemaker as we know it. And I was able to actually find this on his website, and this is kind of his philosophy on winemaking in his own words. So he said, "Today I approach grapes and wine with respect and humility. This is the only way how a man may serve as a tool to improve and present wine. This became obvious to me for the first time in connection with Pesecka Leanka, the tender character of which gets slightly disturbed and uniform when applying, even if in a sensitive manner, selected yeast, enzymes, or other additives. The only proper way is to respect the forces of nature and influences of the year, to understand the place of origin and discover what the nature has granted to us through wine. I do not chase success, points, or medals anymore. I do not look for, quote unquote, the best wine. Today, I know that the true gold is hidden in the character and individuality of our unique region, and those specific features cannot be forcibly pressed into glasses. Those winemakers who are still after the, quote unquote, best quality will find out with time that the term quality means the individuality associated with the character of their vineyard." So yeah, I mean, it's a very kind of different tack. And honestly, I've been tasting his wine. I've been working with his wine since 2019. So it's been, over 5 years at this point. But I've never actually gone to his website. And this kind of explains a lot of it. Some of his wines I loved. Some of his wines I actually hated. But I've always found his wine to be quite polarizing. It's, love it or hate it. There's a very clear reflection of this kind of philosophy, very hands-off, and then just trying to be try to stay true to the varietal character of each wine. So he makes a lot of varietal character from single plots. Again, he only has 3.5 hectares, but they're scattered kind of all over this volcano mountain. So kind of fun way to travel through that place through his wine, because each wine tastes different, and but you also see kind of his touch on the wine. For example, your wine versus mine, they're both Pesecka Leanka, but mine has gotten a lot more skin contact, a lot more barrel aging. Yours is much more fresher, brighter. Again, breakfast wine, a lot more everyday, just kind of a thirst quenching, easy kind of wine. So what is this wine? Oh, wait, I also want to show you this picture. This is his family. It's a great parents. So yeah, I thought it was kind of, I just pulled this from his website, but this looks amazing. But anyways, I just wanted to show that. All right. What is this wine? So this is 100% certified organic Pesecka Leanka grown on volcanic soil in their state vineyard called, under Sitno volcano. The vineyard sits 200 meters above sea level, facing south. That means there's plenty of sunlight, gets some elevation, so a little bit of a cooling effect for the acidity. The soil is red rhyolite, which is a crystallized magma, and then tuff, what I mentioned, the sedimentary rocks formed from volcanic ash. These vines were planted in 2009, all hand harvested. He actually had a really good tech sheet. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the tech sheet, but he laid this all out. All hand harvested, first pick on August 29th for acidity and freshness from the lower part of the vineyard. Then on September 3rd, second pick of slightly riper grapes in the upper part of the vineyard for ripeness, roundness, and balance. 2 picks are vinified separately. The grapes were destemmed, crushed, and left on skins overnight. So there's a touch of skin contact on your wine as well. Native fermentation is stainless steel with a free run juice only, meaning no pressing. So after all that must, after you crush the berries and left on the skins, you just kind of drain out the juice without pressing it. Those free run juices is considered the best kind of portion of the must. Blended 2 parts together before the end of fermentation to keep some natural CO2 in the wine. Kept on lees in tank until the end of February 2024. So that's about 4 months. No manipulation, no racking, no batonnage, which means just stirring of the lees in order to preserve freshness and CO2, which according to the producer lifts the fruit and liveliness. And I happen to agree with that. Mine does not have any CO2 left in there because obviously it's barrel aged as opposed to yours in stainless steel. I think I kind of prefer you guys' bottle more. I mean, this is cool, but the other one is just much more lively. This one seems a little more, this seems more like a food wine, much more food wine. It's bottled unfined, unfiltered with a smidgen of sulfites, 15 ppm, which is pretty much nothing. And that's what this wine is. Any questions about anything we just went over?
And it's Pivnica Cajkov.
Pivnica. Okay.
Pivnica Cajkov. Yeah.
Cajkov. Oh.
Cajkov. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. See, there you go. Pivnica Cajkov. Okay. There you go. Any other questions? Or correction of my terrible pronunciation. I apologize.
No one should know this language. It's okay.
Yeah, for anyone who speaks Slovak, I apologize. Okay, let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance?
We'll do it.
All right.
This wine is not clear.
It's not clear. It's definitely not filtered. It's definitely not fine. No racking, no batonnage. I mean, it is very, very pure as it is.
Yeah, very hazy. Well, I guess it depends what color it really is, but I like medium, pale to between pale and medium.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you call the color?
It's more like a gold.
it's like gold with a touch of amber.
Gold.
Yeah, I will go as far as calling.
I mean, it
Like,
doesn't
yeah, there's
look
a
very. I mean, no, is it technically orange wine? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not long enough. I mean, just overnight, so it's 12 hours at most. But yeah, it does have a little bit of that kind of orangey kind of a hue to it.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, I remember that wine was kind of like that lemon with a flecks of gold with a little
Yeah.
touch of orange kind of skin contact thrown in there.
Yeah.
But any other observations?
It doesn't have any like effervescence, but I don't know if it's deposits or if it's bubbles at the very bottom of my glass. Do you have that?
I don't have that, but
Huh.
I've been swilling.
Maybe it's deposits, but
Okay. I mean,
it
it
looks
is
like
very
bubbles, but
likely.
it's all along the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, I mean, this wine definitely gives off some sediment. So I mean, if your wine with bottle was shaken up or it was agitated, chances are you may get some sediment on the new glass for sure. Cool. You get to pick the next person for the lemons.
How about Charles?
Okay.
I have a complete different.
Wine's cleanish.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The wine is definitely sound, but
It's sound. It's
yeah.
not faulty. It's cleanish. It's not completely squeaky clean.
Yeah, it's not squeaky clean. It's definitely rustic for sure. Intensity.
I'd say medium intensity. I can detect a little tiny whiff of it, like a half inch off the glass, but I'd say it's maybe just about medium, maybe high end of medium.
Also, just to give you guys some different comparisons, so mine is exact that great, but 24 hours on the skin. So that's how much the color changes between yours to mine. So 8 some hours to 24 hours.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I missed the part where you have a different wine. I mean, I caught that in your description, but why do you have a different wine?
The importer the inventory number was off.
Okay.
And by the time we got to it, it was like too late to change it because it was coming down. This importer is in Chicago. So he shipped the wines from Chicago to DC. And by the time, they realized the inventory is short, I was like, I don't have time to retaste and all of that. But it was exactly one bottle short, so I'm not gonna fuck it.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Where were we?
Aroma characteristics.
Yeah.
Primarily primary. Aromas of, I get something floral, like maybe chamomile.
Yep.
Green fruit, I get some maybe like yellow apple.
Yeah.
It's opening up a little bit. I feel like it's a little less tight, kind of maybe a little gooseberry note, but it's a little less than it was before. Citrus fruit, lemon, like lemon, almost like a little lemon pith type of note to it as well. Stone fruit, yeah, like some peach and apricot going on in here.
Yeah, I remember immediately thinking that this was like a peach ring. I was like, there's so much peach ring, like a peachy kind of a thing running through here when I first tasted this wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but quite a bit of stone fruit, totally.
Yeah. For me, no tropical fruit or other fruit.
Yeah.
When I first opened it, I thought there was maybe a little bit of an herbaceous note to it as well. I can't quite place it, but it's still like kind of there. It's somewhat faint, but I definitely noticed it earlier, and I'm not noticing it as much now. But maybe someone else can help me out.
I remember, not only you guys tell me, and obviously mine is much more orange, but I remember when I tasted that or smelled that, I remember thinking the chamomile character wasn't like a fresh flower. It was like chamomile tea, kind of like the dried out.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's funny because I was like, I'm pretty sure that smells like chamomile tea. So I went and smelled some chamomile tea, and then I came back and smelled the wine, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's definitely chamomile tea.
Exactly. So, it's less, to me, it wasn't like a green herbaceous. It was that kind of like, chamomile tea is not just the flower. You can kind of smell the dried out portion of the leaf. So yeah, I got some of that in that wine for sure.
Yeah, it's almost something like a little, like, I don't know, like almost like a little, like very faint pyrazine type of note, or like phenolic note in there. So it's maybe that's what I'm getting. I don't know if that's actually herbaceous, but and some minerality for sure.
Yep.
Pretty strong minerality of like whetstone.
Yep.
Just wet regular stones for me, not flinty whetstones. Just wet regular stones.
Yeah. I do remember thinking it had quite a bit of minerality running through, even though it had like it was almost hard. Like I had to spend some time there because the fruit and the fruit character, particularly the peach, like the stone fruit character, was very strong for me. That I thought it was that's all I got at first, but really like there are layers. It's hiding behind all of the minerality, rocks and all.
Yeah,
cool.
and I guess there's maybe just the other thing to note is like almost like a little, like, I don't know, I always forget, I shouldn't, I'm a chemist, but like an oxidative note or a reductive note. I think it's maybe like just a tiny little bit of an oxidative type of character to it.
Oxidative or reductive?
That's what I'm telling you. I never remember which one's which, and I should, because I could draw it out in terms of molecules, but I forget which way it goes in wine.
So reductive is the one obviously without oxygen. Oxidative is with oxygen. In terms of how the wine expresses itself, what is like a reductive wine? It can be like that smoky, flinty kind of thing in a small dosage. In a high dosage, it can be like onion skin or even to like matchstick, that kind of smell. With the oxidative thing, I mean, it can be like, it can go all the way into like cheese rind or into like leesy, Brady kind of a thing as well. Kind of sherry, that kind of rancio sherry note, that kind of stuff.
Well, the way you asked the question, I take it you don't agree with oxidative, but I'd still say there's like a little bit of like kind of a, it's not nutty, but it's like a little bit of like a sort of sherry-ish note to it for me.
Okay. Cool. I mean, the chances
David goes literally the exact opposite direction on the spectrum.
Chances are, because this guy didn't do any batonnage, didn't do any backing. I mean, it was basically left the fuck alone.
It'd be reductive.
And then exactly, oftentimes when the wine is like that, it could form like a floor, which is what phenol sherry is made of, and then that actually makes the wine reductive because like it completely blocks off the oxygen from the top layer. So that may be what you maybe hinting a little bit, but
maybe it just smells like sherry, but it's not oxidative. That could be,
any secondary, any tertiary?
Like just fruit development is maybe like kind of, it's not like really ripe fruit, but I don't think it's actually fruit development in terms of time. I just think the character of the fruit is not like super ripe. So I'd say no tertiary, but it does have a character of like, just ripe apples, or like the chamomile kind of brings the fruit notes down. So in terms of secondary, not, I don't know, I guess maybe like a little kind of like leesy thing going on. So
I mean, they sit on the lees, left on the lees.
It's not like a distinct like bready brioche thing. It's a little bit more for me than that, but it's definitely got sort of a yeasty character to it. And
I mean, the wine that I remember tasting was very much primary driven. Like it may have some of these kind of secondary things, given that it was on the lease for 4 months. Did spend some time on there, so you may get a little bit of this, but really, when we're talking about it, we're right here. And particularly for me, it was the stone fruit citrus with a touch of the chamomile is where everything was. Like that's the majority of the wine.
I guess I should note too that I didn't refrigerate the wine, so this is literally being consumed at 71 degrees because I got home not very long ago. So probably not quite at exam temperature, but
Yeah, but you're probably also getting all kinds of stuff that we're not getting because probably any kind of a fault in winemaking or any kind of a mistake in winemaking, you could probably pick it out much easier than okay.
It's not faulty. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not any I'm like really sensitive to VA and stuff like
Yeah.
that. There's none of that. It's not got anything that's really even arguably a fault. It's a very, very correct wine, if not a clean.
Yeah. Yeah, and given that it was only 15 ppm of sulfites, I mean, we're talking about very good winemaking. Yeah. All right, you get to pick the next person for a palate.
Any volunteers? Cecilia, let's do it.
Slovak for the Slovak wine.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of had to. I was just texting my dad about where my mom's family came from, but anyway, because I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
So it's dry.
Ooh.
Medium plus acid.
Yeah. Got some acid. Even my wine is fucking screaming in acid.
No tannin. Alcohol feels medium to me.
What's the percentage of that thing? I remember it being not super high. Like
11.
moderate.
Yeah, 11%.
11%. Okay.
Yeah.
David says he got some tannin. Anybody else getting some tannin? Some phenolics?
I'm not getting grippiness, but
My tongue definitely feels a little bit dried
Yeah.
out when I take a sip.
Okay.
maybe
I
I'm
have a feeling-
maybe I'm
I haven't-
misreading it as acid. I don't know.
I'm also
It's
I'm also
very
getting
slight,
some
but it's not like a clear white wine with no tannin. My comment,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm getting some as well, David.
Okay.
They're very gentle. It's like skin or stem tannin.
Yeah. Just
Not
overnight skins. Just
yeah.
as you will.
cool. Alcohol body.
Medium to me.
Anyone else?
Maybe medium. Well, yeah, no, not medium minus. I feel for white wine, it feels medium to me.
I can't remember the body exactly, but I remember thinking it was like around the medium minus, somewhere around there. Yep. Okay. Moose, are you guys all getting a little bit of like a spritz in your bottles? Yep.
I have some bubble sitting in the bottom, like somebody else said. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then all that, I mean, obviously, as the producer said, it's all intentional. He purposely wanted to keep onto that kind of dissolved CO2 to keep it really fresh and lively. I really do think this is a fantastic brunch wine, honestly. Flavor intensity.
It stays with me. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely medium, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I remember thinking it was very expressive. I don't remember the nose, but definitely on the palate, I remember it being at least medium, maybe moving towards a medium plus. But yeah, let's go with somewhere in there, medium to medium plus. All right. Do you confirm everything that Charles called out? Is there anything else that you get? Or
So
something different?
the mineralities on the palate to me stands out more than on the nose. But
Okay.
yeah, everything else I would agree with.
Okay. What is a mineral expression for you guys on this thing? Like, is that like flinty and smoky? Is it briny?
flinty.
Is it...
Flinty, there's salinity, which I really like, and yeah.
Yeah, I like the salinity on this thing. It could be both the kind of the minerality as well as just kind of sitting on the lees and some of that. Definitely the lees aging kind of built out the body as well. But yeah, I do remember thinking that there was some saltiness, which I thought was really nice on top of all that really ripe fruit and caramel and keel and all that stuff as well.
It makes me want to eat oysters right now.
Oysters. Okay.
Yeah.
Any secondary, any tertiary?
I'm not on the palate for me.
Yeah. And finally, the finish, the length.
For a white wine, this is like got a pretty long finish, I feel like. Medium plus, somewhere in there.
What do other people think?
It's still sitting there for me.
Medium plus, Charles? Huh? Anyone else? Yeah? Bordering on medium plus. All right, so medium to medium plus. Cool. All right, take it home for us. How good is your peep of wine, Cecilia? Would you eat it?
Well, it's probably really cheap. No.
Not in America. Once it gets here, it's
Yeah, no, it's
over there is cheap.
yeah, I don't think they export a whole lot. So I think, I mean, I would call this good. It had a decently long finish. It has like more complex, I mean, no secondary, tertiary really, but like
Yeah.
there's just a lot going on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's go through it. So, is this wine balanced?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very well balanced. 2, concentration. Charles called it medium on the nose. You called it medium plus on the palate, right? So somewhere between medium plus. And then complexity, right? And you were just saying bunch of different things in primary. We got some flower, we got some stone fruit, we got green fruit, we got citrus fruit, some minerality, brininess. Charles was getting some yeast contact, but mostly all
Primary. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No secondary, tertiary. So let's say like medium, and then the length you called it medium. People call it
Medium
medium
plus.
somewhere between medium plus, right? So when you look at all across that, it's balance, medium to medium plus intensity, medium complexity, medium to medium plus length. So if you take an average of that, we're landing somewhere between medium and medium plus. So depending on how generous you feel, call it very good or good, depending where. Would you age this?
Well, I guess since it has a little tannin that I think I just read as acid and lots of acid, probably like a little bit. Also, the bottle makes me feel like it's meant to be aged a little bit, but
Yeah. What do you say that?
I don't know. It just looks fancy, like old Europe. Yeah, I don't know. But
So
probably not too long.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, probably not too long. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not, right? I mean, it's got some acid, right? We call it medium plus acidity. It has touch of tannin, but it's not really meant for like a tannin extraction, phenolic extraction for the longevity. That's just more to build up, probably keep it a little more stable. Honestly, when you're making white wine, and this is where Georgians were genius and so smart to begin with, is that by extracting that polyphenolic, which is anti-oxidative in its property, you actually are able to make wines with much less sulfites to stabilize it. Kind of the tannins essentially serve as a preservative. So even just that 24 hours or overnight, the soak that you do is giving this wine a much more stability, ability to put way less sulfites on there, but also giving it a little more body, a little more textural kind of component to the wine, which is smart. And that's where kind of like the winemaker's touch comes from, where winemaker's genius shows through. But it's not enough to really interfere with the true varietal character of that wine, unlike this one, which is a lot more skin and phenolic extraction. It's a complete different wine that I'm tasting here. So to me, the intent of, and even, he said this is a breakfast wine of Alice Wonderland. The intent of this wine is meant to be a very youthful freshness, enjoy it now. I mean, he tried to keep the CO2 in there. And then you mentioned the bottle. Oftentimes, if the winemaker wants to age the bottles, most likely they will bottle it in a color like a green or brown bottles.
Oh, darker color, yeah.
Darker color, trying to block out UVs as much as possible.
Right.
The clear bottles are usually just for something like that. So I don't think this wine is gonna fall apart anytime soon because of that acid, right? Low pH keeps it stable. That overnight skin soak, a little bit of phenolics that come in there, keep it stable as well. But I think the intent of this wine, and I do think the delicious and the good part about this wine is the immediate, that like approachability, the youthfulness, the fresh fruit, and all that. So I would say drink this over the next 2 to 3 years. Probably wouldn't go bad, fall apart in the next 2 to 3 years. But I wouldn't really intentionally lay it down to age it. I would say drinking that.
Makes sense.
Cool. Any other questions or disagreements? More this warms up, the more it tastes like Orangina. Okay, all right, little orange. All right, little orange skin. Okay, like it. Did you guys like this one? Just out of curiosity. Charles, I mean, besides the lukewarm room temperature wine that you're it being the issue, tell me.
I like the nose. I don't love the palate. Like I actually like studying the wine, but I don't love drinking it.
Okay. Tell me more. What's going on in the palate?
I don't know. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. It's like so. There's like a lot of salinity, but I feel like it needs almost like the acid's there, but it's almost like it needs more for me, like more of like a juicy citrus, like more primary fruit character to kind of like balance out the saltiness. Like the acidity's fine. I never am mad at acidity unless it's out of balance, right? But like it's almost like it needs more fresh citrus fruit as opposed like I'm never like, oh yeah, let me get some of them salted peaches. Like that's never a thing that I've asked for, but like salted lemons, like sure. So I almost feel like it's too much stone fruit and not enough citrus fruit to balance out the salinity on the palate. But on the nose, I don't get that at all. I just get all the flavors in balance.
Right. Interesting. Okay. All right.
Maybe I'm just drinking some hot fucking wine and it's not a representative. Who knows? Shouldn't have microwaved this before I put it in the glass, I guess.
Just salty ass fucking room temperature.
And did you guys get the salted rim on your glass or no? Because I said that it did not margarita please me. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is the margarita version of the wine. But the wine
now but I think you can make an excellent I don't know what an orange-ish wine that's a rose, like a frozen wine, like it's frosé. What is it?
Yeah.
Orange. You can make a orange wine out of this.
Orange wine,
salted rim. It'd be perfect.
Anyone else?
I mean, I think usually when I like see a wine that looks like this, like has the nose of this kind of wine, I'm usually expecting slightly more body, right? So I think that's maybe a little. I mean, but it's also like nice if you're. I don't know. It's dark. It was a cool day. I can see how this would be really nice.
Wait, when you say this kind of wine, are you talking about like the color, climate?
Yeah, just like the skin contact, the nature of the fruits, like so it felt like so it felt a little like it kind of felt more, a little thin, right, when I'm tasting it. But I will be. I'm going to be haunted by thinking about salted peaches now. So I
don't know. Like salting a peach is salting fruit is like the chefiest move of all.
So if you had salted peaches and you served it with meat, I feel like it would work great, right? Like I don't know, like pork loin or like
So this morning for breakfast, my child had nectarines with prosciutto.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you salt the nectarines?
No, but prosciutto, of course, is
sure,
right?
And you also grill
prosciutto, and
I think this would actually probably be a good food wine, and I'm waiting for dinner to arrive, so I haven't gone that route, but I feel like this would be a good wine, like with a piece of meat or.
Yeah, I actually think
30. You
that's
haven't had dinner yet?
Yeah. Like 12 minutes.
Oh,
I feel like I actually think that's exactly what I said for the pairing suggestion. I'm gonna look it up right now. What did I say for pairing suggestions?
You did, and we grilled chicken kebabs with the peaches and grilled the peaches.
Salted.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a little salty, Charles. It was a little salty. And it was really good. It was really good.
Okay.
It was a good pairing. But I think I always do exactly what you say to do. So that was, yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. I'll let you be the guinea pig of my conceptual pairing.
There has to be like one person in the world who listens to like every other person, probably, right? Like every person in the world has one person who's like, oh yeah, what Woong said. And
yeah.
Kirsten's your person. She's just like, I'm gonna do whatever the food recommend. I'm gonna do it. That's great.
But the thing is, he's never been wrong. Like if he talks about a pairing and you do it, it's always the right pairing.
Oh,
right?
you're kind.
That's awesome. That's like honestly one of the best. Like I feel like, well, I mean, I'm not in the wine industry, but I feel like if you're in the wine industry and people are like, "Oh, your pairings are always perfect." That's like a fucking amazing compliment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so much of what I used to do was around that. So yeah. Cool. Let's play everyone's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? As Cecilia mentioned, this wine is probably cheap as fuck in Slovakia, but it has traveled. It had to go through a 3-tier system in America to land in DC. So, Cecilia, how much do you think wine like this would be in Slovakia? Like if you were to go to a local restaurant or like a bottle shop or something.
Oh, like under $10, probably.
Yeah. Sounds about right. I was gonna guess like €8, 7-8 euros. Is Slovakia in euro? Do they use euro?
I think they do now. Yeah. Czech Republic does.
All right. Let's see. Charles 23, Cecilia 22, 26, Heidi 35, David Corlette 22, 22, Sara Fuentes 2018, Kirsten 30, 22. It's kind of all over, but this on a retail shop would be 28.50. So
you're definitely paying the Slovakia tax on this bottle.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff like when you go to Europe and you come back here, you're like, why, how? Like the wine that was like €8, how is it $28? Like I told you, like when I was in Portugal, I met the producer, the bottle that we featured, what was his name? Anyways, I forget the producer's name right now, but he didn't have a US import at the time. He was like, do you want to buy some? Do you want to import this into the States? I'm like, I don't personally import, but I know a bunch of importers and I could definitely at least broker some conversation between you and somebody. And that was before the pandemic. And then, during the pandemic, I realized one of my distributors in DC started carrying that wine. And then when I asked him in Portugal how much he was going to sell it, how much he was selling it for, and he's like, I don't know, I'll give it to you for like €4 a bottle. And I was like, oh, all right. Like I think we could definitely make this work for somewhere between €4 and €5 a bottle. Like, I think we can make this work.
How much would it cost you per bottle to actually bring it over?
Yeah.
No, like, do you know, like, if you were like, if someone's like, hey, we're somewhere in Europe, like, do you want to import this? Like, what would your actual cost be to?
It all depends. So depends on the volume. So if you can fill out a container, that's obviously goes up much cheaper. As soon as you have less than a container, in fact, they call it actually LTC, less than a container, the price skyrockets. Because now they're having to compile from others, and you also know like they are in need, like they need to tack onto your shipping, otherwise they can't get it in themselves. So the LTC price just skyrockets. And a lot of wine importers, like the ones that are starting out at the beginning, that will usually, what they'll do is that they'll compile, if they have friends and otherwise, they'll also combine all their wine orders together, reconcile it on their own, and then sell the container and then split the cost. Or there are some wine logistic companies that handles all of that. But again, like if you can fill out a full container yourself, your cost skyrockets. So especially with wines that come from places like this, right? Like Czech, Slovakia, Hungary, unless you are like the Hungarian importer, right? Like your entire book is Hungary or like Slovakia and Czech, and you can fill out a full container full of these 3 countries. First of all, you still have to reconcile wines from these 3 countries into one container, getting people to drive bottles and cases across national borders to combine at the port somewhere. So oftentimes they'll end up having to bring in smaller portion, which ends up raising the cost. And I'm willing to bet that's what happened with this one. Again, so anyways, that wine that was supposed to be 4 or 5 years in Portugal that ended here in DC selling for $18 wholesale, which means it was $27 on retail. So
I feel like there's like an Amazon opportunity here to just be like, if like to tell people, be like, look, do you want to put, I don't know, 140, I don't know what a multiple of 12 is, 144 bottles of wine on a crate, like, you'll get a good deal because we need to fill it out. Like just pop it on there. Like,
yeah, there are companies that do that. So like T. Ellentony is one of them. Vines of Long Island is another company.
They're not doing a very good job because it's impossible to get wines out of half the countries, maybe 2/3 of the countries in Europe, and they're expensive as fuck.
They're terrible.
They should just figure out how to not be so bad at it.
Yeah. National Cellars in DC region in Virginia, Springfield, Virginia, is our local kind of like an import logistic operation company. And I fucking hate them with a passion. Like, they're one of the worst companies I've ever had.
Does your hatred of them exceed my hatred of Zacky's?
As a fellow hater of Zacky's also, it is up there. It is close. It's close. So,
like it's interesting. Everybody on this call pretty much has been around for so long that they could probably, if they had perfect recall, cast their minds back to why I hate Zachy. This is like the OG set over here.
Yeah, exactly. They've been hearing about us bitch about Zachy's for 5 years now. So.
Well, don't worry, they still suck. It was true then, it's true now.
Yep, 100%.
And they still email me. They're like, "You want to buy Bordeaux on Primeur?" I'm like, "Fuck no."
Yeah, you're like on principle. Any other questions?
I do have a question, but it's a super nerdy technical question, so I'll wait till other people have normal people questions if you want to do that.
Anyone? Or comments about the wine? Just curious what seems like this was a lot of people's first Slovak wine experience.
I'm just curious about David's child's like Roman emperor diet. Really.
Getting my kids to eat breakfast at all is quite a challenge. And so just whatever strikes their fancy, whatever they want. You want a lasagna for breakfast? Go ahead. It's left over in the fridge. Have it. Yes. And this morning, my kid was like, I want prosciutto. And I was like, how about some fruit with that? So it's not just salted meat. Okay.
It's a fantastic combo.
I know, it sounds like a fantastic breakfast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was
well done.
That was good.
Wait, is just a breakfast, or are they just picky eater?
No, they're not. My kids could never be picky eaters. We serve all sorts of random shit.
Good.
But for some reason, like breakfast, lunch, they don't. And then like every third dinner, they just kind of pick at, and then like the next night they'll consume massive amounts of whatever. You never know what to expect, really.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
Hey, can I ask a question? Because I joined a little late.
Yeah, what's up?
On the label it says Pivnica, which means brewery. So can I get a little background on the producer there? I'm sorry for the repeat, guys.
I know it's a brewery that I've been told, or at least when I looked it up, it was basically like the wine cellar, or I guess anywhere like the fermented beverage is made, I guess.
Okay,
Is
fair
what
enough.
it's called.
I think some places distinguish, I just don't remember if Slovakia distinguishes between like a brewery and a winery
Yeah,
with
I
a
don't know.
particular word. I'd have to dig into that a little bit.
I mean, this is
Okay.
all Google Translate. Type it in Google. But when I
Mhm.
typed it up, it basically came up as wine cellar or wine cave.
Right.
Cajkov or
Yeah, because pivo is beer in most Slavic languages, but that doesn't mean where beer is made is not where wine is made in. It could be both, you know.
I think that's
Okay.
literally the only Slovak word I know.
Pivo.
Yeah. Because my grandma really liked it.
Wait, Pivnica?
Pivo.
No, pivo, beer.
Beer.
Starvation.
Fair enough. Pretty sure that was my first sentence in Serbo-Croatian. 2 beers, please. Okay. I'll dig into it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Cool.
What's
Cool.
Charles's nerdy question?
Yeah, Charles, what's your nerdy question? And what's for dinner? And is it working with wine?
Too early to tell. We got some sushi and some yakisoba. My question. So like front palate, back palate, like attack of the wine. Like this wine is acidic, right? But I feel like it doesn't have an acidic attack. Like it's more gentle, and then you're like, oh wait, there's acid there, as opposed to some wines, and you're like,
yeah, okay.
But they're actually the same level of acid, right? Like if you
Yeah.
do the thing, you're like, these are the same. They're medium plus acidity.
Yeah.
What is the distinction between a wine like this one that feels kind of gentle, feels gentle going in, but then you realize that it's acidic? And a wine where you're like, oh yeah, that's zippy. Like this wine is not zippy.
Yeah.
But it has the same acidity as wines that I would describe as like zippy.
Yeah. It all depends on, I don't know if this wine is got the mallow or not. So mallow is also a big thing. So malolactic fermentation, not only changes the kind of like the nature shape of acidity, but like our just a kind of perception of that acidity. I've always found mallow wine, even if it's a very acidic wine, is a higher acid wine, to be much rounder, much softer. To your point, to use your words, it's like less attack than the fully stopped mallow wines. And two, what I've also found is the kind of that two other things. So for one is actual sugar. If there's actual residual sugar on the wine, that acid attack, even if it didn't go through mallow, comes out perceptibly much less aggressive. Prime example would be like Riesling, some of the like the riper Riesling, like Spat, let's say, and also let's say kind of a Riesling, really high acid, but because the sugar is there, it's not as crazy. And also these are wines as well, 4 to 5 wines. The other one is the the actual like the amount of fruit also plays like a perceptive kind of quality to it. Like to me, this particular wine is a lot of like ripe and very abundant like expressive fruit. And that to me at least plays like a trick in our brain. Because oftentimes when there's so much fruit, where our brain thinks that there's actual sugar on the wine, even though there isn't one. Like lab data confirms that there isn't sugar, but we think the wine is much sweeter than it actually is. And then I think that may play with something to the acid. But more than anything, to me, the thing that changes the kind of my experience perception of the wine the most are the malolactic acid fermentation and sugar, or residual sugar. But in this case, in this particular one that you're talking about, I would assume, I don't know if this went through mallow. I wanna say probably did. I don't think they would, the type of winemaker that this guy is, I don't think he's a type that would stop mallow. I think we just let everything just go the way it is. So probably did go through full mallow. I don't know that for sure, but probably did go through full mallow. And then two, again, a lot of that kind of ripe fruit, all that stone peach, that kind of stuff. That'd be my guess.
Okay. By the way, as it gets colder, it's got more front palate acidic feel.
Okay.
So maybe it's a temperature thing too.
How did the rest of you feel? Did you guys feel like the acid on this thing was kind of like hiding and you had to like look for it? I remember this wine thinking that the acid was pretty upfront. Like I knew that it was there as soon as I tasted it.
Mine was pretty cold when I drank it, so
Yeah.
I tasted it right away.
Yeah. I mean, even this wine, like the wine that I'm having now, and this has gone through, definitely has gone through full mallow, barrel age, 24-hour skin contact, a lot more textural, but the acid on the thing is ribbon. So I imagine all your wines are even more than that. So yeah. Maybe it's the actual temperature too, Charles. So like your wine's being warmer, just like more of the fruit coming out. This is good. It's quite good. Any other questions, comments?
I'll just say I'm randomly eating king crab, avocado, cucumber sushi. Actually goes just fine with that. I think the crab is kind of like enough.
Yeah.
For it.
All right.